Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing? This is Leo Naranjo the Fourth. I'm here today interviewing a representative from the Chad Bianco camp. Sheriff Bianco has graciously declined my request to have a debate with him one-on-one under his terms, his 30 years of experience versus my 36 years of experience. His status as a sheriff, my status as a retired Army vet. All terms I'll agree to for him, his terms, his game, everything. My only demand for such a debate is that my family has to be present. That was it. Mr. Bianco can't bring himself to sit down one-on-one with a Republican, so I referred to him as a coward of a sheriff. However, events have changed with the inclusion of Mr. Mahan into the race now, the mayor of San Jose. So we're getting some breakthrough. We're getting some pushback. And we have Lord Farquhar, Mr. Duck Farquhar, and he's decided to speak on behalf of the Bianco camp to answer a few questions that we have of him if such a debate were actually to be held, just as GTF-OH TV. GTF-OH TV is sponsored by stakeholders that you will never know, funded by amounts of money you will never see, and licensed by those individuals that are not allowed to talk due to governmental NDAs that were signed previous to letting them operate. This is a first-of-a-kind interview. It is exclusive, and we are here today. Leo Naranjo IV, candidate for governor 2026. I'm here with Mr. D. Farquhar. And Mr. Farquhar, here we go. We'd like to ask you for GTF-OH TV. Did Chad Bianco really, as we jump into this, did he really pray to the mobsters during the riots and COVID? Well, Mr. Farquhar, that was a direct question, but I see that you didn't have an answer for that. So let's move on. Let's move on with the questions. We have people that are asking, calling in. The lines are really lighting up right now. Mr. Farquhar, we're going to have the next question in regards to veterans. And veterans in California. California is the 50th state in the union to tax veterans' pay and benefits, their military retired pay and benefits. And Mr. Naranjo's campaign, one of the plank platforms that he ran on in 2023 and is still running on, is he'd like to see that practice ended. He wants to see no further taxation of military pay and benefits in this state, getting us out of the only state left in the union to do that. Well, in 2024, the legislature suddenly came up with a proposal to ban taxation of military pay and benefits. They went a little bit farther than Mr. Naranjo. However, it's only for 4 years. Mr. Naranjo is a former military veteran, 15-year veteran, retired from the Army. And as a matter of fact, sir, you haven't made any type of commentary towards veterans in your campaigning. Do you have any words for those veterans, how you would take care of them, how you would reduce this tax on pay and benefits? Well, okay, that was quite telling. Awesome. All righty. So, Mr. Farquhar, your employer, Mr. Bianco, has taken his budget from $250 million a year to nearly $1.2 billion a year, with some questionable expenditures in painting, office equipment for his department, etc., etc. Contractually, some of these deputies seem to be getting 15% pay raises. And Mr. Bianco himself has 2 more pay raises coming up. Could you let us know in the last 2 years of his contract where he stands to gain as a sheriff? Okay, Mr. Farquhar, we're here to ask you questions and to get answers. Do you know how much the sheriff gets now per year? Mr. Farquhar, he gets over $625,000 a year as sheriff. Were you aware of that? Potentially, the final 2 years of his contract, he stands to gain at least 10% more per year until his final pay and benefits accumulation will be almost $750,000 a year. Are you aware of that, sir? Wow. Okay. So you have no response to that, I see. Okay, okay. We're going to move on. Sir, when it comes to transgender sports, Mr. Naranjo has emphatically stated that he stands with women. Boys should be boys, girls should be girls, and those locker rooms should be for each gender. Transgenders can have their own establishment should they desire. Are you for this or against this? Have you taken a position on transgender being in women's sports whatsoever, sir? All right, you know what? This is. Did you buy the polls that show that your candidate is number one and leading? Well, I'll be damned. That's kind of disheartening, Mr. Farquhar. Okay, we're gonna move on to a different topic. We're gonna move on to the illegal alien question. Are you for illegal aliens staying in this country? Is your candidate, Mr. Bianco, for amnesty? So you don't want to give a response. Okay, I understand. Will your employer, Mr. Bianco, assist ICE in any way, shape, or form? You're not going to do that either. You're not going to say, okay. Well, sir, Joe Aprio. I'm not sure if you remember him or not. Yeah, that sheriff. You know who I'm talking about. That sheriff. He he deputized his officers to conduct ICE operations in order to keep his county safe. Are you opposed to doing that also, having your sheriff deputies deputized by ICE so that they can conduct and perform the removal of illegal aliens from our jail systems and from our neighborhoods? That's what I expected. Okay, so we're gonna take a hard pass on the illegal alien questions. Okay. Okay, we got that. We're going to move on, sir. When it comes into illegals with driver's licenses in California, California has over 17,000 reported licenses that have been provided for illegals in order for them to drive over the road vehicles. Are you for pulling those licenses, suspending payments to the DMV until we can get our proverbial acts together? Mr. Naranjo has called for some of that. He's written out to organizations and agencies to try and mitigate those negative impacts to the state. What is your stance on this? Are you for mitigating the impacts, correcting DMV, or do you think we should continue as status quo, let those people drive? Mr. Farquhar, you're not being very forthcoming. Are you actually representative of your boss, Sheriff Bianco? Okay. We're gonna go. Let's just go past that. We want to ask another question, sir. Are you aware of who Dahlia Coleman is? You have no idea. Okay. Do you know who Miss Aria Cruz is? Do you even know what happened to those two young girls? Okay. Do you even know what happened back in just after Thanksgiving in Stockton, California? Are you aware of any loss of life because of gang violence or illegal aliens on the roads crashing into American citizens and causing death and mayhem in general? Wow, that's really amazing, sir. You're really representing your guy really good. I'm glad he gave you the opportunity to come here to speak today. Let me move on towards a few other items of concern here. Do you know of Ileton, California, sir? No, you don't. Okay. How about Benicia, California? Let's move on. You're kind of toting the party line right now. Do you realize that both of those two cities, individual cities, are near the point of financial collapse? Ileton is already bankrupt, but they're just too broke to say they're bankrupt. Would you support a bailout for that city? An audit of the books that they refuse to present to the state? I see. Did you know that Mr. Naranjo went down there and actually tried to help the city of Ileton, California, fix their finances, and instead met with a hostile city manager that basically told them to blow off because they want to stay in bankrupt status and let their city collapse? You weren't aware of that. But, okay, a simple nod would have been sufficient. All right. How about Benicia? Did you know that Mr. Naranjo tried to contact their staff, got a hold of their city manager, but it was inconclusive because they were trying to sell the refinery? Okay. Did you know that the refinery was even for sale? Doesn't sound like it, huh? Okay. 20% of our fuel is going to be cut with the closures of the Benicia refinery and the ones down in Southern California. And estimations are our gas tax is getting ready to surge almost to $6 to $8 a gallon. Are you aware of this, Mr. Farquhar, on behalf of Mr. Bianco, that we have a fuel crisis in California that's looming? Oh my God. Okay. Are you aware that California is going to have a $25+ billion budget hole each and every year after 2026? Does your sheriff understand the implications of it? Yeah, I didn't think so. So now we have word that we're passing a new tax in California to charge people by the mile in order to replace the excessive gasoline tax. So we're pushing a tax hike under the guise of replacing a tax. Are you aware of this, sir? You're not. Do you know anything? But you know how to sheriff. You don't even know how to sheriff? Are you sure? You've got one of the worst records of solving crimes. Your boss, Mr. Bianco, and his department haven't solved a whole lot of okay. We're moving on. We're moving on. Yeah, it's not a very conducive interview. You seem to be taking the position of you don't want to answer anything. Are you aware that Gavin Newsom cannot run again? My God, that was an easy question. Seriously? Did you know that he's being termed out of office, which is why he can't run again? Does your boss know? You're not going to say? Okay. Can you name anybody else running against you in the race for governor in 2026? Do you know if your boss is running for governor in 2026? Well, that one I understand. You wouldn't be aware either. Okay. Seems to be an endemic problem in the sheriff's department there for their sheriff. Could you tell us, sir, who is paying for all these tours Mr. Bianco is taking throughout the state? Is that his campaign or the taxpayers of Riverside County? Yeah. Okay. The wall would probably be better to have a conversation with, wouldn't it? Obviously. Okay. You're Woo, you make this difficult, sir. GTF-OH TV is trying to have a forthwith conversation with a representative of Mr. Bianco's campaign. We have D. Farquhar, and are you campaigning against anybody else? This is really sad. This is really sad. Why did you bother to come here for this interview, sir, if you weren't going to give up any answers? Okay. Okay. Are you on fentanyl? No, that was, yeah, I'm sorry. That was a little bit unprofessional. I didn't mean to go there. Dark glasses in a lit room, it's kind of the first indicator. What? No, sir, you can go there. I don't care what you said. You can do the same thing for all I care. Okay, whatever. I have it. How do you feel about Mr. Mahan running? Is he scaring the pants off of you? He is. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, fine. We're going to wrap this interview up today, folks. We're not getting anywhere with Mr. D. Farquhar and answering questions for Mr. Bianco. And I just want to leave you with this, ladies and gentlemen. When you have somebody that kneels to mobs while we have other sheriffs that are informing us how they go about dealing with mobs, that's what we need. We don't need pretend sheriffs to do that. We need cowards to stop being cowards. They need to show up and they need to start having this conversation. That's what I'm talking about, okay? Yes. That's the type of reaction we need to get. Do you know that Mr. Naranjo is trying to have a debate with Sheriff Bianco, and because Mr. Bianco keeps running away, that he's being called out as a coward now? You're okay with this? No, you're not okay with this. Okay. So do you know that your boss kneeled to a mob? That was all right? Oh my God. What the hell? Will Mr. Bianco show up to any debate where he's actually challenged to answer the hard questions? He won't. Okay, so he's not going to show up to debates. Is he going to be a coward and continue to run from debates that ask those hard questions? He is going to run away. Okay, well, sir, you can GTF-OH TV all day long if you want, but we're not going to sit here for this type of nonsense. We have listeners that want to know answers. They want real questions answered, and you're not providing anything. Are there any final words that you'd like to give the audience today before we go? Yes, you've already done that. Okay, and yeah, you did that too. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your on-the-spot reporter. Kick back in a seat, trying to have a conversation with a Bianco representative that refuses to have that conversation. Mr. D. Farquhar, I want to thank you for showing up today. You're welcome, sir. Thank you very much. I want to thank the audience for listening. We're trying to do something on behalf of California. Your campaign seems to be one of mediocrity and running away, hiding behind polls. Are you aware of that? You are? You are aware of this. Okay, so you don't mind hiding behind polls. And your guy is okay with hiding behind polls and not actually debating topics? That's embarrassing. Okay. Mr. Farquhar, I want you to take this back to your boss and let him know that anytime, any place, anywhere he would like to have a one-on-one debate with a retired Army veteran, let him know that Mr. Naranjo is seeking that. Can you do that? Can you do at least that, sir? I didn't think so. Would it matter anyway? Because the sheriff doesn't seem to hear anything except his own fanfare. Do you think he'll listen? No, he won't listen? Okay. Do you think he's going to care to listen? Probably not. That's what I thought too. Right. Do you think the sheriff is content to hide behind poll numbers and pretend that he's out, trying to have debates when he's really not? He's looking for the passive questions coming out to ask him about his past, his history, his love life, and everything else. Do you think that's... You do? Okay. So that's okay. Okay. All right, sir. Well, again, thank you very much. This is Leo Naranjo, your scoop reporter on GTF-OH TV. And we want to thank you very much for participating in this. No, we're not going to hear from you anymore, Mr. Farquhar. You're done, okay? Yes, I don't care what you do. Fine. Okay, we're going to move off. This is GTF-OH TV. Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get when you kneel once too often to the mobs. They just come right and roll in and they do their thing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. This is Leo Naranjo, the 4th campaign for governor 2026. The disclaimer here to be added is this is all parody. There was no real contact made or established with the Bianco campaign, nor did they send a representative to have a discussion. Matter of fact, Mr. Bianco is doing everything other than having a discussion. That's really upsetting. He refuses to meet with an Army veteran, hasn't really given much as far as veteran status or anything, so it's up to him. Coward the label is, coward the label will remain. You guys have a great afternoon. This video was bought and paid for by the Leo Naranjo for Governor.com campaign. No monies were exchanged. No interviews were actually conducted. This is a parody comedy. You guys have a wonderful afternoon. God bless you. Take care and good luck.